Hey, it's Aaron Chen, and welcome to part one of a 10-part series where we're going to talk about the 10 steps to creating really a true six-figure business on the internet. And I'll see you in a second with part number one. Hey, welcome back. If you're watching this video right now, you might be on my YouTube channel, so consider subscribing to this channel at any time. I'm always coming up with content that will teach you how to earn your first dollar online, all right? And what we're going to be talking about today is part one of a 10-part series where I'm going to teach you how to build out a very successful internet marketing business. And it's not really what you think, okay? So part one today, we're going to talk about something called having a clear vision, okay? So in my business, Invincible Marketer, what I've done is over the years, I've learned many different strategies on how to be successful. And what I've done is inside of my Invincible Marketer program, I have distilled 10 different strategies that all my students basically go through, and we're going to be talking about that, all right? So the first strategy is really about having a clear vision of your future, okay? That's really important. I know that sounds very basic, but the reality is that a lot of people don't understand how to create a vision, and they don't understand that it's actually having the right vision that will allow you to achieve the big goals that you have, right? And the reason why it's so important to have a vision of your future before you even start any sort of internet business or online business or whatever it is because if you don't know what you're aiming for, you're never gonna hit it, if that makes sense, right? And so you need to set your goals and your visions very clearly so that you know exactly where you're going. See, the big problem with marketing on the internet is a lot of people don't talk about this stuff, right? All they talk about is the tactics and stuff like that. And the truth is that tactics change overnight, right? Google will change overnight, Facebook changes overnight. There are new apps coming out, there's new platforms coming out, there's all sorts of new social media coming out, right? So it's not really about the tactic, it's about all the other invisible things that will really help you to get to where you want to go, right? And so it's really about setting yourself a big vision, knowing what you need to do in order to get there so that you can be on the right track from day number one and hit your goals no matter what happens, right? And with a lot of people online, when they come on the internet, they build basically their business on, they basically build a shack on a layer of quicksand, right? So it's like a flash in the pan type of business. It's here today, it's gone tomorrow, because they weren't willing to take the time to build out a vision, understand what they needed to do to get there, all right? And then build a gigantic, skyscraper, a 100-story skyscraper. Let's just imagine that's your business, right? A 100-story skyscraper with a very strong foundation of cement, rock, stone, and steel, if that makes sense, right? And so part of getting to that, strong foundation is knowing what you have to do today in order to get there, all right? So let's talk about the three stages of setting your vision so that you know exactly how to do this. Stage number one is where most people are. It's the kind of the know stage, right? And this is kind of like the you know something, but you're not really planning on doing anything. It's kind of what everybody does every single day. That just means that, you have a full-time job, you get a salary every single month. Maybe your salary is $2,000 or $3,000 a month. And you know that if you wake up every single morning at 7 a.m. or whatever, you get dressed and you go to, your waiter job, or, maybe you're a painter or you're a bricklayer, or maybe you work in corporate or whatever it is, you're gonna get paid a certain amount of money every single month, no matter what, because you're working 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day in a full-time job, right? In terms of goal planning and vision, that is the base layer stage. That's called the know stage, right? Now, the second stage is called the thinking stage, okay? So maybe, you're somebody who's like, okay, I know that I make $2,000 or $3,000 every single month, and I want to get my salary higher. So I'm going to think of a strategy on how to actually get more money from my normal day job. That's what most people do, right? So what a lot of people will say is, okay, so if I'm making $2,000 or $3,000 per month and I'm working 8 hours a day, what I could do is I could work more, right? So they strategize in their head, they're thinking, they're like, I'm gonna work more hours so that I can make more dollars per hour, and that will add to my salary. So basically, instead of being strategic, they just work harder, right? Does that make sense? And so maybe they take up a second job, maybe they work in a second restaurant, or maybe they do some freelancing online, or maybe they help their neighbors to paint their fences or whatever it is, right? And so they work more hours. So instead of working 5 days a week, they work 6 or 7 days a week. They max out on their hours, and maybe they're doing 8, 9 hours a day, or maybe even 12 hours a day. And they earn a little bit more income. But if you think about it, you can't really earn that much more. Maybe you get to $4,000, maybe even $5,000 per month if you're like killing yourself, but you're literally burning out. Okay, so that's stage number 2, right? Now stage number 3 is called the dream stage, okay, in terms of vision planning. And the dream stage is about picking a number or a goal in your mind that is really, really scary, okay? So let's just say you normally earn, $3,000 or $4,000 a month. A dream goal might be $20,000 a month or $30,000 a month. Now, if that number scares you, then it should, because that's the whole idea of planning your goals and making a vision for yourself, right? And that's why it's called the dream stage. It's because it seems like it's impossible, right? And if it doesn't scare you, if that number doesn't scare you, or if your goal or vision doesn't scare you, it means that it's not big enough. Does that make sense, right? So if you're earning like $3,000 and your dream vision is to earn twice of that, $6,000, that's not a very big goal, because you could probably hit that pretty easily, right? So the whole idea of making a vision for yourself, especially in your life, is to think really, really big, right? Because if you shoot for the moon, at least you're gonna hit, and you don't hit the moon, at least you're gonna hit a few stars on the way, if that makes sense, okay? And so that's really, really important, okay? To have a big vision for yourself, because what's gonna happen is if you open up your mind to hitting the biggest thing and the scariest thing out there, what's gonna happen is your subconscious is going to make things possible for you, right? So it's about asking the question, how do I get to my vision? Instead of a closed statement like, oh, I can't hit my vision. There's no way that I will ever make $30,000 a month, right? That's a closed statement. Now, what happens when you close a statement? Well, the mind closes up and all options become impossible, right? But if you ask the question, instead of making a statement, you ask an open question. Well, how do I get to $30,000? How do I, improve myself to gain the skills in order to get there? How do I do that? What are the resources that I can use? What can I do today in my life and my business to get myself to $30,000? Then all of a sudden, your body and your subconscious work in a very, very different way that will help you to get to your goal a lot quicker, if that makes sense. So here are some of the tools that you can use in order for you to help get you to your visions and your goals a lot more easily, right? So the first thing is called a vision board. You may have heard of a vision board before. It's really simple. You either take a scrapbook or maybe your computer, and all you're doing is you're collecting and making a collection of images of the things that you want to have in your life, right? So maybe you want to snowboard 3 times a year. So you have a picture of, you or somebody snowboarding. Maybe you want a nice villa, or you want a nice little chalet in Aspen, or Colorado, or whatever it is. So you find a nice picture of that, and then you save it to your computer, or you have, you print it out and paste it in your scrapbook. Maybe you want, a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, or maybe a BMW, or an SUV. It doesn't really matter what it is. Then you take that picture and you put it there. Maybe you want a beautiful home, or maybe you want a beautiful home office, right? So you find pictures of beautiful home offices, and what you do is you take all these images, okay, and you collect them, and you either put them in your scrapbook, right, or you have maybe a board that you have, a whiteboard in your home office, or you just have nice pictures of them running on your screensaver in the background on your computer. And what that does is it activates your subconscious mind. It keeps you motivated. You wake up every single day and you're seeing these images, and it drives you to actually want to achieve those goals, all right? So that's the first strategy and tool that you can use, a vision board. Now, the second strategy that I use a lot, and I get my students to do this all the time, is to actually create something called goal cards, right? Golden commitment cards. Now, they look something like this, right? I have these in my programs, but it's very, very simple. All they are is little cards where on the back you can write in detail exactly what you're trying to achieve, right? Now, there are a few different ways that you can do this. You can, have a particular result that you want to have, or it can be financial, monetary, or it can just be lifestyle. Whatever you want that you know will help you drive that passion and for you to achieve that goal, right? Now, specificity is really important, okay? Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you don't want to just write something like, I want to earn $10,000, right? It's not specific enough, right? So you want it to be very specific. So something, for example, like, I will earn $30,000 in profit in my online business by December 2021, if that makes sense, right? So it's very, very specific. And the more specific it is, the better it is, because it will drive your subconscious to actually open up your mind to the possibilities of actually hitting that goal, okay? Now that's a monetary goal, but it could also be, results oriented. So maybe it could be something like this. By December 2021, I will have sold 500 of these particular products in order for me to hit my income goal. Something like that, right? Or it could be lifestyle. It could be like, I want to have, or I will be having 5 big family vacations every single year by December 2021 without ever having to worry about where the money comes from, right? So you see, the first one's monetary, the second one was results oriented, products results oriented, and the third one was lifestyle, right? Something that the money is actually going to give you. It's not so much about the money anymore, it becomes about the lifestyle that money can give you, right? Because it's never really about the physical cash, okay? So having goal cards and having this on your person, right, or on your office or in your car, in your back pocket, wherever it is, if you look at this and you read it every single day, right, what that does is it opens up your subconscious mind and it drives you to actually take the right actions in order for you to hit those goals, okay? So a lot of this has to do with psychology, right? It's already proven in psychology that if you write things down on a daily basis, it will actually activate that part of your mind that will help you to hit those goals, okay? Now, does that mean that you can write a goal card and watch Netflix every single day for 12 hours and not do anything and then you're gonna hit those goals? No, it doesn't mean that. It means that you need to write them down. It's very clear in your mind what you're trying to achieve, and then you have to take the right actions in order to achieve it, right? But by writing these things down, you will get to your goals a lot more easily than if you didn't do it at all, if that makes sense. Now, the third and final thing that will get you to your goals is working on the 6 inches between your ears. I talk about this a lot, and I will definitely be talking about it in some of the other parts inside of this series, but working on your mindset is so important, right? And the reason for that is because, look, everybody comes from a different background, right? You may have grown up poor, you may have come from a family where your parents always talk about, things like, oh, do you think money grows on trees? And, they have a negative connotation to money. So if you don't work on your mindset and you don't work on your subconscious, then you may not even know this, but you might have a very, very bad relationship with money. And if you don't work on your mindset and open up your subconscious to understanding that, it's okay for you to accept money into your life, right? Then you're never going to be able to hit those goals. Does that make sense, right? So again, working on your mindset, recalculating and reorganizing, reprogramming your subconscious mind to allow you to accept lots of, abundance and money into your life is very, very important, right? So if you take these 3 things and you work on them every single day, all right? So you've got a vision board, you've got your goal cards, and you work on your mindset, right? Watching motivational videos, or going onto YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and subscribing to things that will help motivate you to drive you forward. These are the steps that you can take that will help you to create a 6-figure business. So I hope you enjoyed part 1 of this 10-part series on how to become an invincible marketer and create a 6-figure business so that you can do all the things that you want in life, right? So today again, we spoke about having a clear vision of the future that you want to create for yourself, all right? And if you enjoyed this video today, please let me know in the comments below whether you're on my blog, on my YouTube channel, all right? If this is the first time that you're watching one of my videos, you can subscribe wherever the subscribe button is. And if you're on my blog, okay, and you're interested in learning how to do this in detail, if you're like, Aaron, this makes so much sense, how do I actually get the detailed step-by-step training in order for me to really do this properly, right? And this is just, one of the many, many strategies that you can use in order to build a very, very successful business. Then all you have to do, if you're on my blog, is click the link below. Check out my Invincible Marketer program where I talk about all these things in a lot more detail and actually give you the step-by-step in order for you to get some great results. So listen, I appreciate you. I hope you look out for part number 2, okay? And I'll speak to you very, very soon. Take care.